Good morning, students. It's a pleasure to have you back in our history class. We are doing chapter 6, Beginning of Freedom Movement. In the previous module, we had learnt about the factors that helped in instilling nationalism among the Indians. Students, it was this feeling, the love for the nation, which inspired the people of India to come together for the freedom movement. But this time, it was not in the form of an armed revolution, as it was in 1857. The leaders belonging to different places, caste, classes, fields came together and formed a political organization, namely the Indian National Congress. I know, children, this name sounds familiar to you, since we still have a political party named the Congress Party. The Indian National Congress is the oldest political party of India. But with the time, the form, nature and working of the party has undergone changes. This party acted as the voice of the Indian people during the British rule. It was a symbol of Indian unity. They put forth the demands of Indian people in front of the British and fought for their rights. Let us study about the Indian National Congress in today's module. Indian National Congress gave a platform to our leaders to come together and work for the freedom of India. It was formed in 1885. You will be surprised to know that a retired British officer, Alan Octavian Hume, helped in its formation. It was his idea. The first meeting of Indian National Congress was held in the Gokul Das Tejpal Sanskrit Pathshala in Mumbai on 28 December 1885. 72 people attended this meeting. These members came from different parts of our country. The Congress leaders wanted to create a feeling of oneness among the Indians living in different parts of the country. The leaders of the National Congress believed in the principles of liberty, equality and fraternity. Vyomesh Chandra Banerjee was the first president of the first session of Indian National Congress. The early years of the Indian National Congress can be divided into two phases, those of the moderates and extremists. The leaders of Indian National Congress were realistic and highly educated. These leaders in the first 20 years had moderate aims. They did not want to overthrow the British government or kill the British officers or start a revolt. They wanted to bring about a gradual change through constitutional methods. A lawful systematic approach was adopted by the moderates in which the demands of the people were put forth in front of the British government in writing through appeals and petitions. Among the important moderate leaders at this time were Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Feroz Shah Mehta, Surendranath Banerjee, etc. Let us see what demands were placed by the leaders of the Indian National Congress on behalf of the Indian people. Moderates asked for a greater share of Indians in the administration. They wanted that the Indians should also participate in the governance of India. They also asked for opening of more schools and hospitals. They even wanted that the military expenses should be reduced and more number of jobs should be created for educated Indians. They also fought for the freedom of press as it allowed freedom of speech and expression. Let us know about the leaders who were termed as extremists. Students, there were ideological differences among the members of the Indian National Congress. Some of the leaders like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal and some other leaders were of the opinion that a national movement could only become successful through a strong and aggressive approach. They felt that the people had to set their rights by fighting and by being organized against the British government. They used the medium of newspapers, national festivals, and national education to bring about the political awakening among the Indians. In addition to the newspapers, Kesari and Maratha, Lokmanya Tilak organized public celebrations of Ganeshotsav and Shiv Jayanti to bring about national awakening among the people. Students, was there an outbreak of any disease during those days? The answer is yes. Let us know about it. In 1897, the epidemic of plague spread on a large scale in Pune. Plague is a disease which spreads due to infected rats and mice. The plague patients, which needed to be taken care of, were inhumanly treated by the British. The plague patients were searched out and oppressive measures were taken against them. An officer named Rand was appointed for this. The Chapekar brothers assassinated Rand in revenge. The government tried to connect the relation of Lokmanya Tilak in this assassination, but when they did not get any evidence against him, they imprisoned Lokmanya Tilak out of revenge. Let us now learn about the partition of Bengal. The growing unity among the Hindus and Muslims became a serious concern for the British government, since they always wanted to create a rift between them in order to rule on India. In 1905, Lord Curzon, the then Viceroy of India, decided to partition Bengal into East Bengal with Muslim majority and West Bengal with Hindu majority. The reason given for this partition was the administrative convenience. But the hidden motive was to create a divide between the Hindus and the Muslims. The day of partition, 16th October, was observed as a national mourning day. Raksha Bandhan program was organized in many places as a mark of unity. All over India, protest meetings took place to condemn the government's decision. Vande Mataram came to be sung everywhere. Students in large numbers boycotted government schools and colleges and participated in the movement. Anti-partition agitation widened the scope of the Indian national movement. Finally, the British reunited the province of Bengal in 1911. Let us watch a video to know more about these events.
Indian National Congress, INC.
In 1885, a retired British officer, A.O. Hume, and many Indian leaders came together to form the Indian National Congress, that is, INC. The first session of INC was held at Mumbai in December 1885 and was attended by 73 delegates. Congress leaders like Dadabhai Nauroji and Gopal Krishna Gokhale stood for the hopes and dreams of the Indian masses. The demands made by these leaders were simple, like representation in the government, equal treatment in the army, and civil services, etc. These demands were expressed through peaceful means, and the leaders were thus called moderates. On the other hand, leaders like Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and Bipin Chandra Pal were regarded as extremists because of their overall aggressive stand. The Lal Bal Pal trio believed that India must achieve Swarajya or self-rule and not be ruled by anyone. Other prominent leaders during the freedom struggle included Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and Vallabhbhai Patel.
Moderate and extremist groups. In the early phase of the INC, the moderates were in charge of both demands of the party as well as the execution of its action program. Moderates such as Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Dadabhai Nauroji, and W.C. Banerjee believed in constitutional methods to bring about social reforms. They would, therefore, make appeals and send petitions to the government to put forth their demands. This approach, however, was not successful, since all their demands were consistently turned down by the British. Some younger members of the Congress, like Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and Bipin Chandra Pal, were unhappy about this approach. These were called the extremists because of the stand they took. According to them, a national movement could become successful only through a firm, strong, and aggressive approach to get their demands fulfilled. They felt that the people had to secure their rights by fighting and by being organized. Through his newspapers, Kesari and Maratha, Lokmanya Tilak reached out to the common people and made them aware of their rights. He declared, "Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it." He also encouraged the people to celebrate Indian festivals like Sarvajanik, community celebrations, Ganesh Utsav, and Shivaji Jayanti, birth anniversary of Chhatrapati Shivaji, to foster brotherhood and bring about pride for the country among the Indian people. The partition of Bengal, divide and rule policy of the British. The increasing unity among the Indian people made the British feel very insecure. They started using various tactics to bring about hatred and discord among the countrymen. One of these was that of divide and rule. With a view to create more tension among the Indian people, the British adopted the policy of divide and rule on the Hindu and Muslim population in Bengal. In 1905, Lord Curzon announced the partition of Bengal into East Bengal for the Muslims and West Bengal for the Hindus. The reason stated was better administration of the two partitioned provinces. The people, however, were well aware that the real reason behind this was to divide them on the basis of their religion. The Indians were naturally outraged at this and strongly opposed the move. They all came out with one voice and Vande Mataram as the national cry. The British were forced to reunite Bengal in 1911 because of this united retaliation of the people.
That's all for today, children. Now read the textbook page number 26 and 27 and complete the notes given in the PDF file neatly in your notebook. Thank you.